There are lots of things that can be done and should be done to ensure that a state that is so endowed does not appear on the poverty pages of this country. We should look for the best people to head political offices. You can have a huge GDP, but until it cascades down to people to benefit, you are going to be poor. If I'm talking of only Shonga, where I have thousands of acres, go to Lafayette, go to Patigi, go beyond a little bit after Patigi, all the villages, see the massive land. That ain't nothing. Nigerians, our culture of investment is such that people want to see the thing first. If I tell you bring your money and I'm going to do something, you say, except I see the thing, the industry is grown, I mean the buildings are there, everything is there. So for that reason, the capital market is also gone comatose. So where do we go? What are the youth supposed to do? That is the big question. And this is why I've always said that rather than translating our politics into business, we should look for the best people to head political offices. You know why? The world has always been dynamic, but it's becoming more and more dynamic now. Only those that can think, for majority of the people, should be allowed to climb the backs of others as ladder to get to the apex. Meaning, okay, we're at crossroads. What are we going to do with the youth? The three means that are available are simply not available to them. Yet, they are the ones that can produce the best ideas. What do we do? For me, take Kwara, for example, or take Nigeria. I work here for revenue mobilization. I believe Nigeria should not share all the money that it gets from oil. You should not share it. The way to go, if for example we are making $30 billion a year, as we were making at one time, think for a minute. If we say, okay, $15 billion will not be shared, and we are keeping $15 billion, in 10 years, available to agriculture, industry, and services will be $150 billion. Then ask me, how do we share it? If, for example, Kwara State used to have 5, 7, 10 billion naira every month, it will only have access now to 5 billion that will go to the government. This other 5 billion will be kept with the Central Bank of Nigeria, but it's not going to be assessed by the governor of Kwara State. It's going to be assessed by those who want to invest in Kwara State. And therefore, the young men and women that have good ideas can now go through the commercial banks. Note the difference. The commercial banks do not, these monies are not for individuals that have come to save their money, which is what they have presently. These are monies that have been taken off from the money we have earned through oil, and therefore nobody is going to tell them, give it to me today or tomorrow. They are going to be there forever. The short term might be a bit difficult, but what I think government should do with the little they have, they should try as much as possible to create jobs, which is immediate diversification. And the way Nigeria should go, we should not go for the best efficient ways in terms of mechanization. Automation for a country that has this kind of population is going to take away a lot of jobs. So like when I said Nigerian Sugar Company Bachita, you can put 3 combined harvesters to harvest all the canes for you. But what that does to you is that only a few people will reap. When everybody sells, when they sell all the sugar, only the board of directors or the shareholders will take the money. And where you have the shareholders or the shareholder belonging to only one person, it means he's going to have all the money. But consider, if you don't use combined harvesters, and you say, okay, all the people around that can cut sugarcane, let them come. You'll be spreading the wealth to so many people. Because that's the difference. You can have a huge GDP, but until it cascades down to people to benefit, you are going to be poor. The base of the pyramid is going to consist of very poor people, while the apex will be just very few people at the pinnacle will have all the money. That cannot develop an economy. So at this point in time, the short term is Nigeria should diversify, and when we are diversifying, we should avoid too much automation so that jobs can be created. And government should spend in infrastructure, railways, roads, even though they don't have the money, but they are borrowing the money. And this one, they should give to Nigerians. So, if I'm talking of only Shonga, where I have thousands of acres, go to Lafayette, go to Patigi, go beyond that to Egan and all these areas. Oh, well, Egan is in Kwara State. Go beyond a little bit after Patigi, all the villages, see the massive land. That ain't nothing. Why can't our use? The only thing government can do, build hostels for them or build houses for them, so that in such a way that they pay rent back to you as government, so that you are not doing it for free and you get tax. This is going to actually blossom your IGR, the internally generated revenue. But that's the beginning. The second step is to do the irrigation, which I told you. If you do this irrigation, rather than doing it once a year, they will be able to do it 3 times a year. What that translates into is these guys are busy throughout the year. They're either harvesting or replanting or doing something. But that's just step 2. Step 3 is when you have like rice, which I've given you the example. You now come and call them that, look, you are making money. All of you must contribute 10%. The government of Kwara State is also going to contribute 10%. It's also going to contribute 10%. And now we are going to Bank of Industry. And Bank of Industry, we are giving 20%. And build an ultra-modern rice mill for us. And as they are bringing in this rice from their farms, they are the owners of the factory, they are the owners of the field. So you are turning young men to become directors. They are owners of the farm, they are also the directors of the rice mill. And then they are employing others. From being unemployed, they will become employers themselves of labor. Now, you look at the effect of that. How many people do you think will be coming to buy rice there? How many people do you think will be retailers of rice everywhere? See the multiplier effect of that. See how many people, the day that they will be harvesting, they will come and sell food to them. The tailors around there. Now, but do you know the most interesting thing? Once you do that, then somebody that knows that these people here have money, because they are going to be rich people around that cluster. People here have money. We say, let me come and be making clothes here. They'll be buying shirts. So the man selling shirts or the man making shirts will come and put his factory there. Then another group is employed, and they too will earn money. So you now have created an effective market around that satellite area. And so you can imagine, just close your eyes and see the number of people that will be employed. That is just one. I'm just talking of arable farming. Then go to Barote, which we've just described as the largest area. Do you know the number of Fulanis in that area? Barote and Kayama. Tremendous. I'm not too sure if we don't have more Fulanis than indigenous in that area. And if the indigenous are more than the Fulanis, then it must be by a negligible ratio. Do you know why? The place is good for livestock farming. We can start ranches. At a time when the federal government is begging people to come for ranches, we should be the first to knock on their door. And put our people, let them be ranchers of cattle. Do you know what that will give to Kwara State? Some people will be farming the grass that this cattle will be eating. We will be supplying meat to the whole of, not just Nigeria, maybe the whole of Africa. Mecca, the whole of Africa, hides and skin. We will now call people, rather than buying Prada or what do you call them, all these designer shoes. We can tell them, come to Nigeria, come to Kwara, come and start your your shoe industries, because we have the hides and skin. And if they are not coming yet, we can even export to them and make more money. Our children are going to be very rich. We can export the bones. We can set up poultry. And with poultry, we need to put in feed mills. So, I mean, the industries are just too many. But that's not all. Think of the Barotin area. It is situated along the cotton belt of West Africa, from Burkina Faso, pass through Barotin area to Wawa in Niger State, to Katsina in Katsina State, Funtua, Katsina, up to Adamawa. Is there, is a cotton belt. Now close your eyes for a minute and see. Everything we wear in this country is imported. Everything is imported from China or from Europe. So just imagine the cotton fields. We put ginneries. Do you know how many people work in the ginneries? Do you know how many people will work in the textile factories we are going to put? Think of just secondary school or university people, or the police, or any of these paramilitary, that they buy their clothes from Kwara State. Do you know how much that, how good that will do to us as Kwarans in terms of economics? So, I mean, there's no limit to this. So for me, there are lots of things that can be done and should be done to ensure that a state that is so endowed does not appear on the poverty pages of this country.